Hello, 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 LYL baddies. Yep, that's the new name we're calling our fan base or listeners. From now on, LYL baddies, let us know what you think about it. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, hello, my name is Lola and I'm here with my co-host.
Hi guys, I'm Timmy and we're back again.
Yes, we are. And today we are going to continue our series on self-love. And today's episode is going to be on something I'm very sure everyone, every woman can relate to at
Mm-hmm.
some point. It is saying no.
Period. We
Yep,
are saying no.
no.
And I mean, say no to who? Say no to people, to habits, your parents, yourself, society, your pastors,
To boys,
to
boys.
boys. We're saying no to everybody. And
Saying no to
like,
everybody.
say no all around. No, no,
Because
no,
we
no,
want to.
no. Because
Because we
we're
want
allowed
to.
to, and we
Yeah,
have that right, and we will exercise that right.
yeah. Exactly. But honestly, like, I like how we're trying to make it seem like, yeah, we're going to say no. But it is so difficult.
It's
It
so
is so
difficult.
difficult. It's
Hmm.
so difficult to say no. I know I personally really, really struggle to say no, even though I like to say and think that no is like my favorite thing to say because I know how good it is for me to say no.
Yeah,
And like Timmy said, not just to people, to things, but also to myself. But it is very difficult, and and then we'll get to and like Tim and I were talking before we started recording, and she was talking about the fear of saying no, which is why many people do not say no because of the
yep,
fear of
yeah.
saying no,
Like
and
people are
how.
afraid. And honestly, I'm not even going to excuse myself, or I'm sure Lola won't excuse herself either, but we've all experienced the fear of saying no. Like
Yeah.
sometimes the fear of saying no can be tied to like people pleasing, or it can be tied to not wanting to hurt people's feelings. But sometimes it always usually ends up with us betraying ourselves. Like
Yeah.
we end up betraying what we really want to say, how we really feel, truly expressing or standing up for what we believe in or for ourselves. So, there've been so many instances. Like
Yes,
I
Timmy,
can, I
let
let,
us
let
know
me
about
let
a time when you
let me know
said
about a time.
yes,
Like
when you meant to know.
when I meant, and sometimes, it doesn't necessarily have to be yes. It can be, silence. Your yes could be silence. Your yes could be a smile. Your yes could be, just
Chuckle.
this, a chuckle, but you're not actually saying what you mean. So I'm going to just give you guys, some one of my stories. So, where to think, which to pick. So, actually, this happened really recently. So, I was having a conversation with one of my relatives, and it was actually with my aunties, and like, auntie, I love you so much. So please, just what I'm saying,
Forgive
but
us.
forgive us. So the thing really was that I recently just turned 21. Your girl's legal now.
Turn up,
Turn
girl.
up. So I literally just turned 21, and I was jokingly like talking with my auntie. I was like, so I'm like an adult now and stuff. And then I'm sure she was joking, or maybe she wasn't, but she was like, you're not an like I'm not you're not an adult. It's when you bring a man or something. And
Hey, Jesus.
in my mind,
Oh God.
what I really wanted to express and say,
Jabilaraje.
oh, was no, I am not. I am not tied to being an adult and a full-grown woman when I get bring a man into the house. I'm a woman already because I'm about to get a degree. I'm a woman already because
Period.
I'm about to start working. I'm a woman already
Period.
because I'm 21. I'm already a woman. I, I'm ready. How
Period.
many more periods do I need to express?
Honestly,
So your girl, instead of saying that,
what did you say, David? Instead of saying instead of going off like you just went off now, what did you say?
this is what I did.
She laughed.
I just laughed. Meanwhile, I was boiling on the inside. I like, auntie, I love you so much. I know that, we're sorry. And I know that, you meant you always been the best.
It's
Like,
love. But
what I really felt was no, no, ma'am.
my girl wanted to go all the way off. And I feel like I feel like at some point, every girl, every woman can relate to this. You know, you hear some comments, you see some things in the society, and you're just like, laugh, like, ha 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 ha. But inside, you're like, what the hell just happened? You know, inside of you, you really want to like punch, but you just laugh it out. I just like, or just try to act like you didn't see it, you know? And just so y'all know, like, this is not saying that, you know, you should every single time be on defense and every time, you know, always say no to everyone because you know, but we're just saying when you mean no, mean it
Just say
and
it.
say it.
Like,
Say
just
it
say it.
and mean it. You know, when you mean no, it's okay to say no.
It's okay to say no. I know sometimes it's scary, it's hard. You don't want to offend this person. You don't want to make this person think that
Rude,
you're rude. And there are ways you can
selfish.
truly express yourself without being rude. Honestly, if I had the chance to respond to that situation, I think I would have been like, no, now, and see, I'm already a woman, you know. Like, there'll be a way
Exactly.
I'd have expressed it in a way where I'll still pass across my message without, coming off as rude.
Yeah.
So sometimes it also depends on the tone, but ultimately it's still important that you express yourself and don't be like me and just smile and laugh. And then when you show up or they show up to your house, you'll be moving
Right.
mad and they'll say you're moving mad because you're not expressing yourself.
That's true.
So,
That's very true.
I think ultimately the fear of saying no really it has a huge disadvantage because you're not allowing yourself to be fully expressed. You're not being fearlessly authentic, and I think it's so
Exactly.
important that you express who you are. Don't betray yourself because
Yeah,
you're
do
trying
not
to
betray
please
yourself.
people.
And that's what this podcast is about. Encouraging
Yeah.
people to be unapologetic and say
Period.
no and mean it. You know, just be unapologetic. And I feel like the more and we're not perfect. Like to me, just that we are not perfect. We're still trying to get there. We're trying to be
This was just
unapologetic
yesterday.
ourselves.
So
So but we can always get there, y'all. It's very
yeah.
difficult. It's very difficult, especially when you're trying to say no to yourself. Now that one I'm very guilty of. And you know, it's weird because you're like, what do you mean by saying no to yourself?
Right.
Saying no to like habits, mentality, like okay, so I don't know if I've ever said this here, but I usually have like a diary where I write like every single day. But then it just got to a point this year where I was just too tired to write. Where I just could not keep up anymore. And you know, it might seem like such a little thing, but to me, it was I had to really sit down myself and realize that this is a perfectionist mentality pushing me, you know, to keep writing every single day, even when I'm stupid exhausted, you know. And I had to like hold myself back and be like, you don't have to like keep feeding into this perfect mentality. Like it's okay to
Right.
say no to yourself. It's okay to
Yeah.
not take on that task. It's okay to not write in your diary every single day. You know, it's okay to not to do that work. It's okay to not wake up so early in the morning to just do your homework. Like be
Yeah.
human, and it's okay. It's okay to unlearn certain habits. You know,
Yeah.
so it is very difficult, y'all, but we can get there
We
together.
can get there. And honestly, like I can totally relate to that. Sometimes it's difficult even saying no to yourself. And this can be in different situations. Like there are times what's that? Like I remember this particular time where I really liked this guy and things were, I could tell that things were not, going to, yield
Flourish.
anything or flourish or go the right way, or there were so many signs. But I had to say no to myself, my urges,
Yeah.
yeah.
We had to say this many things, yo.
So I had to say no to myself. I had to say no to my desires, and I had to be like, no, like I'm not going to settle. I'm going to go for what I
Yeah,
want. Um, I'm going to raise my standards, and I had to,
exactly.
and I did, and I really would say that I'm better for it. So sometimes even it was really difficult in that instance because there were just so many
Yeah.
emotions and so many heartstrings being pulled, but it was important that I made that choice for myself
Yeah.
and I said no to myself.
Isn't that crazy? Because you're not only saying no to yourself, you're saying no to
Someone
people,
else.
to someone else. Yeah. So sometimes when you're saying no to people, you're also saying no to yourself too, which makes it more difficult, But at the same time, you're saying yes to better things. You're saying
Yep,
yes to yourself. That's crazy. You can say no and yes to yourself at the same time.
you
By
can.
saying no to a part of you, you're
You're saying
opening
yes
up.
to the better part of you.
Exactly.
You're opening up a
Exactly.
new door. And honestly, like there's so many instances that we're just sharing because we just really let you know that we're all going through it. We
Yeah.
all experience it on a daily basis. And like, I don't know if you want to share anything on that. I'm gonna say something real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm an international student in the US, and like with trying to get internships and trying to learn more about my field, it's especially hard because a lot of companies get that experience or get to understand better of what field you're interested in, simply because you're not willing to sponsor you. So it was extremely hard because I was told by a lot of people, oh, just go for any field, just go for any opportunity because at this point you don't know what's going to happen, just go for any opportunity. And I think ultimately it was just like, honestly, I'm going to say no to that mentality. I'm going to go for the opportunities that I'm interested in. I'm going to say yes to God. I'm going to say
Yes.
yes to believing and trusting in my in my Father. And I know that
Yes.
since He helped me on 6 occasions, He's not going to leave me on the seventh. So
Period.
ultimately, it was like saying yes to a higher power, saying yes to someone that I knew had my back, but saying
Yeah.
no to even my disbelief at some point. Because there were times during the process that I was like, I don't think this is going to work out. I think I made the wrong
Right.
decision. But I had to say no to my disbelief. I had to say no to other people's naysaying. I had to say no to a lot of things. So, it really boils down
Not settling.
to not settling. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to think forward and just really, really tell yourself that you will not settle, even when it's difficult, even when you don't see a way out, even when you don't see the next door coming. But you have to really ask yourself, do you want the best of yourself, or do you just want to settle? There's
Right.
something I came across like a month ago, and I don't know if I texted it to you, Timmy. It said, I think it was Yvonne Orji that said this in a podcast, and she talked about how she is not willing to settle for anything less than God will has for her. And then I was just been like, that's a whole mood right there, because even if it's just 1 inch, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to put myself in a position where I can get to maximize everything that God has for me, period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Period.
And by
And I
doing that,
think,
it means saying no to some things and saying yes
yeah.
to some things.
And like, I want everyone to just know how incredibly brave that you are to make a choice to say no to certain things and say yes to certain things. It's it's brave. It's really brave. And sometimes it gets downplayed in a way. Oh, it's just a simple yes, just a simple no. But that simple yes and that simple no can make or break certain areas of your life. It can make
Yes.
and break your mental health, your emotional health, like so many aspects of how you view yourself, how you even view others. And I think when you make a decision to be like, even if you're in a group of friends and most of the time what they do is talk about other people, if you make a choice and you're saying no to that mindset, you're saying no to what you see on a daily basis, and you're choosing to be like, no, I'm not going to talk about other people. I'm just going to,
Right.
be about empowering women, empowering other people. And I think it's brave. So I think
It's a
if
journey,
it's a
because
journey.
it keeps because it's very difficult to say no at some points, but when you keep doing it, it gets to a point where it gets easier and easier. So it's a
Yeah,
journey.
it's a
So
journey.
let us know what you guys think about this. What are your stories? When was the time you said yes when you really meant no? What was the time you said no and you meant no and you stood by it? Let us know. So till then, guys, tune in, subscribe, join the conversation,
And
and
let's
let's change
change the
the
narrative.
narrative. Bye, guys. See y'all next
Bye.
time.